Hey everyone, Josh here. Today I want to introduce you to something called habit stacking. It's a habit forming technique that I learned from a book I read a few months ago, and I want to bring it all to your guys' attention because I think if it's as helpful as it is for me, it definitely can be helpful for you. So in this video, we're going to go over what it is, the pros and cons of it, and some extra information you could read on afterwards if you really fancy. So let's get to it. Welcome to Young Humanity. So what is habit stacking and where did it come from? Well, I learned it from a book called Atomic Habits by James Clear. And in it, he has many other habit forming techniques that will go on in later videos, but this one I found particularly helpful in me becoming more consistent at the habits I want to form. It actually originally wasn't from him, it was from a guy named Fogg who wrote another book on habits where he goes over how tiny changes can lead to big things over time. And Atomic Habits is really similar, so I highly recommend both books, but we'll go over that later in the video. It's a really simple formula. All it is, it says, after I do current habit, I will do X new habit. It's so simple, and yet it actually is very powerful in ways that we can apply it to our own lives. So for me, something that I wrestled with was I never wanted to take my vitamins. And I know that sounds simple, but as you get older, maintaining your health becomes more of an importance. And I wanted to try my best to actually start taking my vitamins. My mom tried so hard when I was living at home, and I could never really do it. And sometimes you have that burst of motivation, I'm gonna take that vitamin pill today, and then it fades off the next day and you can never actually become consistent. So what did I do? How did I come to the conclusion to make a habit stacking out of this? I took what we call a habit checklist. I went through my day and I looked at habits that I already have formed and where I can actually stack onto those. So I actually found a bedtime routine that I thought I could put it on. Now, I think as many of you at home, I brush my teeth before I go to bed every night. It's a great habit I've had since, we were really young. So I figured, how can I apply the habit stacking formula to that instance? Well, after I brush my teeth, I will put out my vitamin bottle for the morning. So what I ended up doing is every time I finished brushing my teeth, or even in the middle of it, I'd walk over to the cupboard in my kitchen, take out my vitamin bottle and place it right next to my coffee mug that I take to work every morning. That way, it's in the way I have to move it in the morning, and therefore I actually in the past few months have never missed taking a vitamin. Now what's kind of funny is for the first time ever of my 25 years of existence, I actually have to purchase a new vitamin bottle soon. I'm running out, and that is kind of a testament to how consistent I've become in doing this habit. And it's a testament to how powerful that really simple habit stacking technique is. I've applied this logic to another routine I had in the morning, where there's many studies I've heard from many writers and authors and people in the military that making your bed in the morning is actually a great way for you to start your day, and I wanted to participate in that experience. Now, as I said again, with the vitamins, sometimes you have that burst of motivation, but I find that motivation never leads to constant gains in the habit forming world. So what did I do? I referred back to the habit stacking technique. Now I looked in my morning, what do I do that I have to maintain every morning that I already have a habit built? Well, I make my lunch for work every day. So right after I make my lunch, I go to my bedroom, I make my bed, and then I eat breakfast shortly after that. So now every morning I have my lunch made for work and I have my bed made for the rest of the day. I come home to a nice clean bedroom, and that's actually become something I'm slightly proud of. So I think these can be really helpful for you as well. I find it's really impressive on how this works and how well I've become consistent in some of these habits. So the pros and cons list. Let's talk about those pros first. Now, one of the main things I found is actually how easy this is to implement in my life right away. You already have habits. We all have some sort of habits at the end of the day, whether they're good, bad, or neutral, and we can stack onto those in any shape, way, or form we really want. So the first thing I did is, as I said, I made that habit checklist. I looked through and I found the habits that I want to stack on. So it's just something easy to implement right away. It doesn't take much time, doesn't take much effort. It's a great way in starting building proper habits. I found it really easy to remain consistent, especially for all these habits I was implementing now. I already have these habits, I do them every day, so why not add on to them? So my consistency rate was significantly higher than my motivational hope that I would do it over and over and over again every day. So the only really big drawback I found, and the only thing I think falls under the con category, is that I found it great for smaller habits. Well, I found it easy to automatically put in when it was putting out my vitamin bottle or making my bed, or even, I want to read more, so I take on my iPad every night. But when it came to bigger ones, for example, working out or learning to play an instrument or learning a new language, that's where I struggled because those require much more effort to do. And I found habit stacking, you need to do a bit more work than just apply a habit stacking technique to it. One of the examples that James had in his book was when you come home from work, you put on your workout gear and then, well, you hopefully feel ready to work out. I just never found that really worked without adding more principles that I read in the book, which we'll go into later videos. So I found it was great for small habits, but not for big. But again, that might be my own personal experience and yours might be different. And if it is, I'm glad for you because that means you can do a lot more habit building than I am, and I'm still working on it. One of the cool things I actually found about this, and they also touch about this in the book of Atomic Habits, is that you can make the habit stacking chain rule. Okay, so essentially you're doing, after I do this habit, I will do this habit, and then I'll do this habit. Because a lot of these times, those habits you've added on actually become habitual things you do. So you can stack more onto it. So I've done this at bedtime again, where I brush my teeth, I added on the vitamin habit of bringing it out, putting it next to my coffee mug. And now what I've added onto that is I bring out my iPad, I open up the Kindle app, I go to the book I want to read, and I place it on my bed. So now I have 3 habits being formed and now reading before bed every night. Habit stack chaining is a really great way for you to make multiple habits become consistent. You don't have to rely on finding multiple habits throughout the day to add on to. You could just add a whole bunch onto one. If you want to know more about this subject, please stay tuned to the channel. We'll be covering more on these kind of books and understanding habits and productivity. If you haven't, I highly recommend reading Atomic Habits by James Clear and the book about tiny habits by BJ Fogg. Both are tremendously good books and I highly recommend if you want to know more about them. And if you don't have the time, that's what I'm here for. I'm here to break those books down for you and explain them back in a way that you can take in little sized bites and apply to your day right away. So thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.